I've been thinking about you. I've been dreaming about you. I'm willing to give love a chance. Will you give me a chance? Will you give me a Will you give me a chance? Will you give me a Will you give me a chance?
Hello, my name is Adessy and you are watching another episode of the Navigate series, a series that is dedicated to talking all things adulting. So I'm here with my two friends,
Patricia.
And we all met at Warwick. We studied English literature together, #literature gang. Anyway, and today's episode we are talking about first jobs / finding your first jobs. Okay, so guys, just tell me a bit about yourselves, like what are you interested in, what's going on, like, yeah.
Well, I'm currently working in publishing, so everything that I'm doing revolves around books. So I'm reading loads because I get loads of free books.
So I'm working in digital marketing in London at the moment, so paid social, so all the adverts you see on Facebook and Instagram, that comes from people like me, and it's really fun. I'm just trying to make the most of living in London really at the moment, seeing lots of concerts, seeing a lot of plays, just making the most of it really.
Oh wow, wait, you didn't live in London before?
I live in Kent.
Oh, you're one of them ones. One of them ones. Wait, I'm not
not one of them.
Okay, sure. Like, Hertfordshire is North London. Everyone's from Hertfordshire represent. Come on. When I say grad jobs or job applications, what are the first 3 words that come to your mind?
Vomit. Sorry, that just gives me so much anxiety. I don't want to do a job application for so long.
Okay, what are the other 2 words?
Intense and preparation. Yeah.
I'd probably say like exciting, scary, and just a bit kind of, it's kind of really weird in a way because you're talking about yourself in a way that you don't normally talk in any other situation, so it's so weird trying to sell yourself really.
Okay, for me I would say, what would I say? I'd say long, I'd say generic, and I'd say again, because I think the applications, especially like with the creative industries, sometimes it's not just CV and cover letter, it's like, why do you want to do this? Write this in 750 words per question, and it's like, mate, do you know how many places I'm applying to? So when you guys like first like were graduating or in final year, did you know what you wanted to do?
Yeah, pretty much. I applied for everything the first term of final year, so I actually had my job offer in November to start in June. So I was pretty lucky in that I was kind of chilled for third year, knowing that I had a job to go into straight after uni. But I applied for so many jobs in such a short space of time. I kind of just, that's all I did for first term pretty much.
But how was the application process for you? Did you have to go through the same thing that like I did?
I think so. A lot of mine, because in marketing, a lot of the roles are quite creative. So a lot of things I had to do were like make a video to tell us about yourself, and like or explain yourself using photos on one page and that sort of thing. So they're really pushing your creative limitations in a way that a lot of kind of traditional job applications don't do. So a lot of that was quite intense, like figuring out how to get across your personality, like through either film or pictures, and kind of really stand out as well. So it's hard to be generic for those applications. Like you have to really go in depth and apply like everything to each of them.
So do you disagree with what I said about like you have to be generic in an application?
Don't disagree. I think it depends on the jobs and where you're applying to, because a lot of the basic ones, like why do you want to go into this field, you can say that for every agency in that field or every company, but in terms of things where they're like, why this company, or they're like, tell us why you are a good fit for this company, that's where you have to kind of really think about why you want that job.
I agree, I get that. And like, what about you?
I did know what I wanted to do in third year. I knew from kind of a year prior to graduating. So when I was applying for jobs, it was so narrow, like I wasn't trying to expand what I was applying to. It literally had to be everything in publishing, and I put my heart and soul into that, which is great. But in terms of it being generic, I really don't feel like it was, because I had to do so many video applications, and for what I have now, I had to do like a whole presentation talking about like how I would market this book. I had to do like a sort of grammar / spelling test. Like it was unlike anything I've ever applied for. So it was intense, but I liked it.
Let's talk about dealing with rejection.
Okay.
Did you get rejected from a lot of places?
Yeah, kind of at different stages, I think, because sometimes they're like, tell us 500 words about why you want to apply. You send that off with your CV and then you get rejected and you're like, what? Yeah, literally, what in there is there to like reject? You know? But there were a few times where you get through as well to the final round and that's where you get rejected and that's where it's quite difficult because you put in so much time and effort. But at the same time, I think quite often you get rejected because you're not a right fit for the company and they can see that you probably wouldn't enjoy it. And I feel like then it's almost like a blessing in disguise.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true.
I had a fair amount of rejection
That
too.
smile tells it all. That smile tells it all.
Yeah, kind of a lot of rejection, but for me, I felt like it was a different type of rejection. So it's the ones where you send off your application, you don't hear anything back, like just air. Like straight air. I think that kind of hurts a bit because you're just like, okay, I've put myself out there and no one's even given me any sort of like constructive criticism as to how to progress further in this journey to finding employment. But because I'm working in a creative field, I signed up to something called Creative Access, and they're really helpful because not only did they give you support before you went to your interview, they would give you feedback after every interview that you did. So I think that helps because although I didn't get the job, it's just like, okay, now I have this to work on for my next interview. But I definitely agree with what you said about things being a blessing in disguise because, I don't know, like I just feel like everything happened for a reason because I'm so happy with where I am now.
The most painful rejections for me would probably be the ones that are like, you're called into the interview, get to the final two, and they're just like, you know what, there was nothing wrong with you. We just chose the other person. That happened to me like twice where they're like, you're actually perfect. I'm like, thank you, but we don't want you. Okay.
I was just going to say, I think as well, a lot of places don't give feedback, but if you're somewhere where you are lucky enough to get feedback, I think it's really easy when you're upset and like, you know, about rejection to just kind of ignore it or be like, oh, that wasn't the case. But I think it's good to kind of really in depth be like, okay, that's what they thought. What am I going to do now about the next interview to like make sure that doesn't happen again? So I think because it's the first time you're going into those sort of interview situations, it's not personal, it's just practice off of it.
If it's for you, it won't pass you. And sometimes things are about timing, and not everything that you think is perfect for you will actually be the best thing for you. Like, I found out that when I did a lot of work experiences at different places, in my head that it was the dream. I was like, oh my gosh, this would be amazing. But then after a while, I'll get there and I'm like, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And you learn so much from that.
Tell me, how do these things work? How do these things work?
Interlude, stop watching. So this is a new segment called GPS. And do you know what GPS stands for?
No, I didn't.
Do you know what GPS stands for? GPS stands for Grown People Struggles. And this is where we read tweets or comments, anything to do with adulting, and we figure out whether it's relatable to us or not. So, grab a tweet.
I relate with mine. Okay, so convincing yourself your food at home is the worst part about being an adult, which like, yeah, like I want to get that treat myself on the way home. I don't want to have to be like, no, there's salad in the fridge.
Okay, adulting has a lot to do with napping and saying no. See, I want to nap as an adult, but I can't nap. But saying no, yes, because you've got to just protect your time and your energy really.
And mine is, I realised that it's easier to manage money when you actually check your account and not just guess how much money you have in it. Lol. Hashtag adulting. This is the story of my life. In uni or in first year, I would just pay, waiting for one day for rejection. Did you feel like loads of pressure whilst you were at uni to find what you wanted to do and to do it straight away, or did you always know?
I think work, because obviously we went to work, it's a bit different. So many people go down that like banking, consultancy, like finance path where it's so intense and like they want to start straight away on a huge salary. So I feel like because a lot of people are applying for that, even though we're not applying for those sort of jobs, we kind of get caught up in that mindset where like we need something, and you don't need something necessarily after uni. It's completely fine if you don't know what you want to do. And I think obviously like some of us were quite lucky because we do know what we want to do. Like I started off getting experience in marketing in first year because I thought it would be what I wanted to do. Then I went and got work experience at other companies and other firms, and then figured out what area of marketing I wanted to go into from there. But then a lot of my friends, they just honestly have no idea, and that's absolutely fine. And sometimes they just happen to find something that fits them perfectly first go. So I think there is a lot of pressure, but at the same time, if you know what you want to do, great. If you don't, that's also fine. It's whatever suits you. Again, as you said, like right person, right place, right time.
I feel like everyone around me kind of they had their thing. Like, everyone had their thing that they were working on. If it was like professional, or it was a hobby or a side hustle, everyone had their thing. And I felt like I didn't really have that. And I realise now comparison just kills your happiness. But I could not help comparing myself to all these people.
Yeah, I felt pressure. Yeah, I felt pressure because I feel like I talk a lot. Like, I talk as in like, from the get-go, from first year, I was like, I'm not going to the corporate world, I'm going to be a creative. I said that with my chest, and I said that to everyone. And then it came to points of like applications and jobs, and like, oh, that's like, you'll be a creative. And I was like, oh my gosh. Because like the pressures of actually having to do the applications and get in was a lot. And I also felt like I also wanted to be like, you know what, let me just go into banking. Let me just go into consulting and get my 60k a year plus my bonuses and live my life happy.
Wait, sorry, I'm gonna just take over and interview. But like, how do you feel about doing things unpaid? Because I just got to a point where I was just like, you know what, my time is actually kind of valuable. But then on the flip side, it's just like experience.
So I actually did a 3-month unpaid internship.
3 months?
But it was for a charity. So it's a bit of like a different situation. So they paid for like our lunches and for my travel, which was actually quite expensive. So it didn't cost me anything, but obviously I know I was very lucky in that I was living with my parents, and obviously like they would feed me like that.
I think it depends on the industry you're in. Like, because I know that I'm going into the media industry, I know that like they've told me straight up, like, people don't get paid straight away. And you have to be prepared for that. But I think we also have to see it as like you're building skills, you're building experience, you're building this, you're building that. So as we're coming towards like an end, like, what do you wish you knew before you started your whole like job application process?
I think I didn't realise how much I would learn, I think, from the interview process about the companies I was applying to and about what I actually wanted to do. So I would encourage people, even if you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that, just apply anyway. Like, there's no harm in it. And obviously, if it's going to take hours and hours, maybe not. But if it just takes like an hour and a half of sitting down, writing out why you want to apply, like, just go for it. And then you get the interview experience. You get like to know more about what you want to do. So there's no harm in applying ever.
Very true. I agree.
Yeah, I think I agree with Ellen. Just sort of not letting those nerves sort of prevent you from just going for it, kind of thing. I think it's easy to do that. You just think, oh my gosh, what if I don't want it enough? You just sort of like give voices to these doubts. But I just think if you just keep going for it, just applying, practicing, trying your hardest, talking to others as well, like practicing with people around you. Just so you get a feel for how it's going to be when you get in there, but also knowing that these people that are interviewing you are people as well, and that they're not these like gods that are so above you. They're people that you can relate to on a personal level.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would definitely prefer the interview process more than I prefer the written application process, because that's the actual opportunity where you get to be yourself. And I feel like I think applications are getting past the first hurdle, but the interview is just you presenting who you are, the honest representation of who you are. And I would say in regards to just like applications, put your all into it, but don't be hurt if they say no. That's it for this week's episode of the Navigate series. I feel like we had some good conversations.
100%.
I agree. Yes, so like, no, I'm not gonna force you to like, comment, subscribe. What I'm gonna ask you to do is to share this with anyone who you feel like needs this. Because I feel like talking about grad jobs and stuff, people get very touchy and they don't like having conversations about it because it's a daunting experience. But I think it's really important that you share it with someone who might be feeling like they're not sure what to do, they're not sure how to get through the process. You see people who've done it, they've been successful, and we've all managed to get grad jobs and stuff. Okay, anyway, we will see you in the next video. Okay, bye!
I've been thinking about you, I've been dreaming about you. I'm willing to give love a chance. Will you give me a chance?